Alright, so we have our example multiple choice question here. We have our question and then the possible answers with the correct answer being the check mark. And then we have a correct feedback and then an incorrect answer feedback. Let's go ahead and build a very simple true or false question. And we can do that by coming up here to create question and going to true or false. Or we can choose where we want it to appear in our list, even if we're going to ultimately have these questions randomized, and then insert it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and insert it right here at the end and go to, where is it at? True or false. A true or false question is very simple. Again, we have our title, so true false test, and then some words. And then we have the option of, again, having our answers, true or false, appear vertically or horizontally. And then what is the answer to this question here? Is the question, well, let's make a question. So, the sky is blue. Is this question true or is it false? Well, it's true, so we're going to leave this true button here checked. And then feedback for correct. Correct. And if they're wrong, we can say, what planet are you on? And then we can go ahead, and I'm not going to do any categories or notes for myself, so I'm going to go ahead and do a submit. And now we have our multiple choice, and then we have a true or false. And then if you want to get rid of this success button here, just click on the little X to get rid of it. And so now here we have our question. And remember, you can come back to this question and come over to this little circle and edit it or even delete it at any time. Now, for the next question, let's go ahead and create a jumbled sentence because it's kind of a cool feature and we can actually use this format to mimic a multiple choice or a true false. So let's go ahead and do jumbled sentence. And again, we have our new question creation page with the type of question at the top here and some basic directions below that. So question title, jumbled sentence example. And now, the way that this works, if you look at our directions, we are going to have a list of variables with some possible answers. And remember, default is 4, but you can always add more, up to a maximum of 20. So let's go with 6. And we're going to say, so for example, maybe we are in a foreign language class and we have to rearrange a sentence so that our words are in the proper order. So arrange the words so that they make a complete sentence. And wherever they're going to have a drop down with all of these choices, this is where we have to put a little square bracket and a letter in there. So let's do A, B, C, D, E, F. So we've got 6 options because we have 6 answers. Now, the reason, so what's going to happen is we're going to have a drop down wherever we have a bracket. And that drop down is going to contain all of these answers. And each dropdown is going to have the exact same answer set. So what can the answers be? Well, let's make a sentence. So, the brown fox is quite awesome. So this is going to be the different words or phrases that they could choose from their drop-down menu wherever a bracket and a unique letter appear. And so each time you insert this into the same question, you have to have a unique letter. So you cannot have A. It's not going to work. And again, we can allow partial credit. So depending on how many of these items are in order, Blackboard will divide that by the total points possible and give you a partial grade. Now, let's go ahead and hit it next, and we'll see what happens. So now, what is the correct answer? And this is where we use our drop-down menus and choose the proper list of questions here. It's quite awesome. So the brown fox is quite awesome. Here's our answer. And again, our feedback. Correct. or not. And then I'm going to ignore categories and notes and then hit submit. So here we have this test, this question here. Let's examine what it looks like when you actually take the test. So here we have question 5 with our different drop-down boxes, and because we had 6 of them, we have 6 drop-downs. And if you notice, again, these drop-downs are all the same. And so you want to be careful that your list of answers is not in the already correct order, because, I mean, right now the answer is very obvious. This is the answer literally right here. But the student would click on the proper word in this drop-down list to reassemble all of these words or possible answers into a complete sentence. So we're taking a bunch of jumbled information and we are putting it into a specific order. And this is kind of the best way, in my opinion, to do that, like so. Now, with this overall idea in mind, usually if you're going to have, say, 5 or 10 true or false questions in a row, the reason why you would have them as one question per item, so this here would be a single question item, and this would also be a single question item, even though they are different question types. So the reason why you might have 5 to 10 or even more individual true or false question items is because you can then pull individual questions into future tests. If you don't think you're going to do that and you want to ask, 5 or 10 true or false questions in a single block, and you don't mind if you cannot reuse any single one of them, you'd have to use the entire set, then one way to do that is to create a single question worth however many points. So we're going to go with, let me show you here. So we're going to go with a create question, jumbled sentence, question title, so true or false. And then we're going to start adding in our different questions here. And after every question, we're going to have a drop-down menu where it's true or false. Alright, so here's some questions I've created. They are all true except for this last one. And you'll note that these letters are not in order. And that's because it doesn't matter what the letter is, as long as each one is unique. And because we only have 2 options, true or false, but with this question type, our minimum answer is 4, we're going to have true, false, and then these last 2 will be blank. Now, if you go ahead and click on next, okay, so let's put a period here, and go to next. So now, here's how our question will appear. We're going to have our 5 true-false questions and then a drop-down with these same options. So this guy is true, 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 and this guy is false. And we do have partial credit enabled. And so I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. And so we are using the jumbled sentence to essentially create a whole sequence of true or false questions that exist within the same question item. And because we have 5 questions, if I want them to be worth 1 point each, I'm going to change this points from my default to 4 and make it 5 and hit submit, like so. Now we can do the same idea using a jumbled sentence to create a drop-down menu for a multiple choice. Number 3 right here. So here's a new jumbled sentence question with the same question as our multiple choice. So what color do hunters typically wear for visibility? And because we only have 1 question, we're going to have 1 area for our drop-down to appear. And our choices are going to be red, black, camo, orange. When I hit next, here's our question. Here's the drop-down. Now we have to select what is the actual answer. So we're going to go with orange. And then the feedback that they can choose. So correct or incorrect. And then go ahead and hit submit. So here's our multiple choice question as a multiple choice question type. And here's that same question as a jumbled sentence type, where we now have a drop-down appearing right here. Both are equally valid, and it all depends on what you want to do. So again, a jumbled sentence is a great way for creating a drop-down list where you want to have multiple questions using the same information set. Just know that in the case of this true and false example, we've got 5 true or false questions, and so we cannot use any one of these questions as an individual for future tests. We have to use this whole collection of questions. And if you're okay with that, great. If you want to split these up so that you can use them individually, this is when you then have to use the actual true or false question type like we have right here.